Hey there, this is LaQuita with QuitaBugHandmaids.com. Thank you so much for joining me today for another Stampin' Up tutorial. So today I wanted to share a really quick and simple Halloween gift box tutorial with you. And I'm using the Pick of the Patch stamp set. And I'm actually only using this set most likely for just this image right here to stamp on my pumpkin. On my original box, I did use the Happy Halloween sentiment, but I forgot that there's this trick or treat sentiment in the throughout the year stamp set. So I might try this sentiment on my box. So hopefully I like how that looks. We'll see. But so yeah, using these two stamp sets, Pick of the Patch throughout the year. And then I'm using some Designer Series paper from the Them Bones Designer Series paper pack. I'm using one of these little headstones here, and I actually already die cut the one that I want, which is the one, this made me laugh so hard, and I just had to keep reading it. Like, I really didn't read these. I just die cut it out, and then I was like, Ricky D. Bones, Rickety Bones. That made me laugh for so long. Ricky D. Bones, Rickety Bones. I just thought that was so, I thought that was so funny. And it's just so weird. Like, I die cut it out. I'm like, yeah, I want this one, and never read it. Rickety Bones. So I thought that was so funny. So anyways, this is the, this is the one I chose, and cut that out of this Designer Series paper using this stitched square die, which can be found in the Stylish Shapes dies. Let me just quickly show you this box that we're going to create. So this is the box. I think it's so cute, and it's really simple. I put these little thumb notches on the side, and I'll show you how I came up with, I'll show you what I used to do that little notch, but isn't it so cute? I thought it was really, really cute. It didn't take me long to come up with the measurements, but it did take me long to get the box to work. I was having trouble getting the lid over the base, which normally I don't have any issues with that, but for some reason I did with this box. So that took a little bit of time, and then I just kept cutting my paper wrong. I don't know why. I kept cutting it wrong. I don't know if I think I was in a rush when I was trying to design it. But anyways, I have a Murder, She Wrote book club with a friend of mine who lives in North Carolina. And we started this book club because I found these Murder, She Wrote books here in town at our local bookstore. And if you know me, you know that I love Murder, She Wrote. I have all the box, well, I have almost all of the box sets. I think I'm missing 3 of the DVD sets. But anyways, I didn't know these books existed, and when I saw them at the local bookstore, I was like, I have to have them all. There are 56 of them, and so I have started collecting them. I think I have 9 of them so far. Anyways, so she wanted to start a Murder, She Wrote book club. So we did. We're still reading the first book that we selected. We've been kind of going slow because we end up spending all of our FaceTimes just talking because we enjoy seeing each other. So anyways, we're a little behind on the book, but we decided for October we were going to read Trick or Treachery because, you know, it fit the month. And yeah, we have not even finished the first book. So I decided to get her the copy of this one because they had 2 at my local bookstore. So I said, let me get it for you. And then I thought it would be cute to send it to her in a cute little box. So that's what I'm doing. So I've got to mail this box out this weekend, but it was super easy to come up with the measurements. So I wanted to quickly share with you how I did that. So whenever I create a gift box for something in particular, which there are a lot of books this size, okay? So this will be really easy for you to use as a gift idea in the future because there are so many books that are about this size, and there's still a little bit of room in my box, right? So if your book is a little bit just a hair wider or a hair longer, it could still work. Okay, so this book, when I measured it, was about 4.5 inches wide by about 7 inches in length. So I decided I wanted a box that was 4.5 by 7 inches. In order to do that, also an inch deep, about an inch deep. So in order to do that, I know that I needed it to be an inch deep, and I needed the 4.5 inches by 7 inches to fit in the box. So I added 2 inches on to those measurements in order to make it work. So instead of cutting my paper at 4.5 inches by 7 inches, I added 2 inches onto the length and 2 inches onto the width. So I cut my cardstock at 6.5 inches by 9 inches. So that gave me what I needed so that I could have 1 inch in depth and then be able to fit 4.5 inches by 7 inches inside of the box. I hope that makes sense, but that's what I did. Let's jump in and let me show you how to build your lid and the base of your box. Okay, so for my box bottom, I chose Smoky Slate. For my lid, I chose Pumpkin Pie, and both of these are cut at 6.5 inches by 9 inches. All of these measurements will be on today's coordinating blog post, and that is linked down below in the video description. So I'm just going to bring in my Simply Scored scoring board here. So for the bottom, you need a piece of cardstock that you can slip into the corner here while you're doing your scoring, just to act as a little bumper to make the bottom of the box a little bit smaller so that the lid slips over. I've never had to do that before, but for some reason when I was making this box, I had to. So I want to score at 1 inch on all 4 sides. It just feels uncomfortable if I score at the 1 inch mark having this here. So I'm actually, with the short side of my paper across the top, I'm going to score at 5.5, which is 1 inch. Okay, then I'm going to rotate, put the long side across the top. I still have my little bumper over here, and I'm going to score at 8 inches, which again, this is just 1 inch over here. And then just keep rotating around, keeping that bumper in place. And again at 5.5 inches, rotate. And again at 8 inches. Okay, so that's the bottom. You don't need the bumper for the lid. So you can just, it'll be a little bit easier without that bumper here. So I can just go ahead and use the 1 inch mark to score at my 1 inch on all 4 sides. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this next step. I'm gonna show it on the pumpkin pie piece, but you're gonna do this for both pieces. You can see we've got our score lines here. So now I'm just going to fold up on all of these score lines and give them a nice crease with my bone folder, okay? Then to create my flaps so that I can put the lid together, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut up on each of these corner score lines. And then I am going to do just a little wedge. It just helps these little flaps fold in cleaner. So I have wedged that tab. I'm going to rotate and do my other 3 corners. Rotate, cut up, wedge, wedge, and then rotate again, cut up, wedge, wedge. All right, so there we go. So I'm gonna do this also on the bottom of my box, which is the Smoky Slate. But first, I want to do my notches for my lid. Now, you cannot see my, what do you call it? My little grid ruler down here at the bottom. Let me see if I have my ruler over here. Yeah, I don't have my ruler over here, so I'm just gonna have to do it off screen a little bit. But where this 1 inch score mark is, I'm gonna line this up at the very end of my grid ruler. And then I am going to line that up straight. And then I'm gonna put a mark where the 3.5 inch mark is, because if you are trying to find the center of this piece, if I fold these flaps in and find the center, that's 3.5, because 3.5 is half of 7. So I need to do that on both sides. Got it. Now I'm gonna take, this is the hexagon punch. I'm going to center the top of my punch over that little pen mark that I just put in there. And that's how I'm going to make my little notch, which will allow some of the bottom of the box to show and also make it easier to take the lid off. So I'm doing that on both sides of my lid. So that's how I got that little notch. Isn't that cute? Okay, so I'm gonna go through and do this exact same thing to my smoky slate piece, and I'll be right back. Okay, so to adhere these two pieces together, I decided to use tear and tape. So I've already got some tear and tape on 2 of my tabs. I thought I was gonna use the Stampin' Seal Plus, but I like the tear and tape better. So I'm just gonna put it down, and I'm gonna use this gift card so that I get a nice clean edge on my tear and tape. And you just gotta be careful doing that, because you could rip your tab off. How do I know? How do I know? Let's just say it happened. Then you can go in with your take your pick tool and just lift up the backing on your tear and tape. Oh my gosh, you guys, I just pulled that with my finger. Ah, okay, we're going with it. It stuck to my hand and ripped my paper, but I'm going with it. Oh, yeah, I'm going with it. Okay, so I got the bottom of my box all put together. So now I can take my book. My book just slides or fits right inside, and you can see there still is about 1/4 inch left. So if you have a book a little bit bigger, it can fit in here. If it's a little bit bigger than the 4.5 inches by 7 inches, and you've got about a little less than 1/4 inch down here, so there's room. And then our lid should just fit right on top. Yep, goes right on top, just like that. So it lifts off really easily. Okay, so there's that. All right, so let me bring in my pieces to decorate my box. So I've got a piece of basic black cardstock. This is cut 3 3/4 inches by 6 1/4 inches. And then I've got a piece of that Them Bones Designer Series paper. This is cut 3.5 inches by 6 inches. And that just gives you a nice little border around the edge. So before I adhere that though, I want to decide where I'm going to have my designer paper go, because then I want to stamp my sentiment at the top. So I think this is where I want that trick or treat sentiment to go, just above. I'm going to use my Stays On Jet Black ink because it's just nice and dark, and since I'm stamping on designer paper, I want it to be really bold. So I'm thinking I'm going to stamp, yeah, right there. So let me ink this up. Trick or treat. And then we'll just put that right there. Oh, that looks really good. I like that. Okay. Then I'm gonna also bring in my pumpkin builder punch, or I don't remember the exact name. I think it's the pumpkin builder punch. And I've got a piece of lemon lime twist cardstock. I wanted a pop of color on here. I'm gonna punch out the smaller pumpkin, and on there And I'm going to use my Stays On, even though this is a photopolymer stamp, and you really don't want to use Stays On with photopolymer because it stains, but it doesn't change the quality of the stamp. So I'm still going to do it, and I'm going to stamp that little face right onto my lemon lime twist pumpkin. Okay, looks good. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. Oh, you know what? I also need a stem for my pumpkin. I'm just going to cut that right out of this layer of basic black because it shouldn't affect anything. Okay, so now, yep, you can't even tell. So now I can add this on to my basic black cardstock, and I'm going to use my liquid glue. Alrighty. This would look cute too if you sponged the edges of this designer paper with a little black ink just to kind of distress it even more. All right, so there's that, and then I'm going to add this to the front of my box in the center. Then I've got this little tab, this little stitched banner that I die cut again using one of the dies from, it's one of the banner dies from the Stylish Shapes dies. And I die cut it, and then I cut it in half with my paper trimmer. And I'm just gonna add that behind my Rickety Bones piece. So we'll just put that just like that. Okay, I think that looks good. And then let me add my stem to my pumpkin like that. I'll just do that with a dimensional. Do I want to do the thick side or the thin side? Let's see. I guess I'll do the thin side. Yep, that looks good. Then I will put dimensionals on the back of my little tombstone piece. Okay, and I'll put that right about there on the front of my box, and then I'll add my little pumpkin down there. And then to finish things up, I'm going to add 3 of these black classic matte dots here. So let's see, I'll just do them. I'll do it right here. Do the large one. And then 2 little ones. All right, and there you have the finished box. It says trick or treat, and then the Rickety Bones. And then, you know, you've got the little sides for your thumbs to make it easier to open. I think this box turned out so cute, and I love that you could fit a book that's slightly larger as well. So it could work for a lot of you to be able to give a book as a gift, or if you're not interested in giving a book, you can fit something really great inside of here. I mean, it is a good sized box. So there it is. And then I'll bring in my original as well so you can see with the 2 different sentiments. I think it's really cute. It's fun. So I hope that you have enjoyed today's tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you more than you know. And don't forget, you can find all of the measurements and supplies for today's project linked and listed down below in the video description and over on today's coordinating blog post, which is linked down below as well. So thank you so much. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye now.